Welcome to Copy Chief Radio. Today's show is a new breed episode where today's most innovative marketing and copywriting stars share their most effective methods for optimizing results in the fast-changing world of direct response marketing. To check out all the Copy Chief Radio episode types, go to copychief.com/CCR. Hey, it's Kev. You're going to love this interview with Mike Michalowicz. He is really brilliant, just a brilliant guy, entertaining to talk to, really insightful on his new book, Get Different. For that, go to gogetdifferent.com is where you can get all his goodies and pre-order the book. If you're hearing this before September 21st, that's when the book officially launches. So enjoy that. I also want to let you know, Mike is going to be one of our featured speakers at Copy Chief Live, the virtual event, which is happening November 9th, 10th, and 11th. Go to copychief.live to get all the details on that. It's going to be completely insane. The best virtual event you've ever experienced. And I cannot wait to share more details about it. So copychief.live, come join us. It's going to be crazy. All right, enjoy the episode. Special guest today, Mike Michalowicz, Mike's second appearance here on the show. And good to see you, Mike. Thanks for being here, man.
Good to see you, Kev. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I think I said this before, but it's only become more true in a couple of ways that you're a guy, a business author, I guess I can call you. I think that's fair. Whose stuff I really implement in my business.
Oh.
I mean, do it in a big way.
I love hearing that.
Profit first, took me a while to find my profit first professional, but this woman, Jess, has changed my life. She's become as much a mentor as a bookkeeper and anything else.
I love that. I love hearing that.
Yeah. And you can tell when you bond with somebody like an accountant or a bookkeeper on the principles of profit first, you're just in a different kind of relationship, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the same with Clockwork. I'm blessed to now be friends with Adrian, who runs
wow, that's awesome. She's amazing.
The implementation arm our whole team went through Run Like Clockwork based on the book. A lot of riches from your work and from your brain. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. I love writing these books. And honestly, every book I write, it's really a challenge that I have in my own businesses that I'm trying to figure out. So I use those techniques too. Adrian's been a guide to me. I don't work with Jess, but I actually have a first professional coaching me. So I love that you are too.
Yeah, it's great, man. Early on, you talk about it. The new book is Get Different, and it's about marketing that can't be ignored. You talk about in this book that early on, you really understood your why and your mission, which was to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty.
Right.
And I think that alone is something that everybody in business needs to know. Like, how do you describe, what is your mission? What do you wake up and feel every day? I love that you tell that story about you and Yannick Silver, another mutual friend, in how, you were frustrated not being able to sell your first book. And he helped you realize basically, Mike, if you've got something different that people need, it's your mission every day to get up and get it in their hands.
Right. So what I learned from Yannick is that marketing is the ultimate act of kindness. You see, like as a small business owner, so many of us feel that if we market, we're actually bothering our customers and it feels awkward. We want the word of mouth. We want to get noticed, but we don't want to be noticeable. So there's this weird kind of bipolar behavior. And Yannick bitch slapped it into me. He's like, dude, he goes, if you believe in what you do, if it's better than the competition, you have a damn responsibility to market this. Because if the customer buys from a competitor and it's a lesser offering, that's the customer's problem for sure. But it's my fault for not making them aware. I have to get to the point of making them aware of me. Now, they may choose to go elsewhere, and that's okay. But if they didn't even hear that I existed, that's a problem. So marketing is truly an act of kindness. If you offer something better, something that you care for fully, that you know will serve your client excellently, you have to make them aware.
That's such a great point. I sense in this one, you're a little pissed off.
You should. So Kev, I was doing the audio and I get to the studio and they have it set up for the Audible book. And it's like, it's a chair and stuff. I'm like, no chair. I got to do this standing. Like, what? I'm like, I am freaking pissed. And when you hear the audio, it's 8 hours of me just jacked up. At the end, the producers are like, I don't know what the fuck just happened here, but He's
Hey,
like,
you guys
we're
ranting.
going with this. We're going with this.
Yeah, it's not a book, it's a rant.
Yeah, it was a rant. I believe so much in small business. I'm so tired of big budgets winning as opposed to big causes or big purpose or just good people winning. The big companies, the businesses with money, they can crank out 1 million Facebook ads or they can run the Super Bowl commercial, but the small guy can't. Yet we're better. So I want this to be the great equalizer.
Yeah. Yeah, we're better and we can be more sincere.
Yeah, totally. Because it's us, the owners in it.
You can turn on your camera. Everybody's got a studio in their pocket now, and you can sincerely say what needs to be said. You should have a small filter because it can be dangerous these days sometimes. But a corporation, it's got to go past the board. It's got to go through lawyers. It's irrelevant by the time the message gets out. We have the advantage of being relevant and sincere and immediate.
Exactly. Yeah, we're nimble. I consider it like a wave of change going through the ocean. So, we're under a big economic shift and new expectations thanks to COVID. Consumers are buying in a new way. It means we have to adjust. Well, as this expectation tsunami rolls through the ocean, the big companies, they're on tanker ships. Amazon's trying to roll over this thing. But the little guys, we're on jet skis. We can catch this wave and we can take off on this. I'm convinced 5 years from today, companies you never heard of today, 5 years will be the new names, the big names. And I'm not saying every one of us has to go big. If that's not what you want, I don't want to go big. I just want to have big impact and with the market accordingly.
Yeah, I love that. And that is the thing. You get to choose. But if you're going to show up, you better show up effectively and put some thought behind how do you want to be received? Because, the old saying is like, you have a brand, you just may not be controlling it. It may be very boring, but people recognize you for something. So maybe you can ratchet that up just a little bit. And this book, Get Different, is really a guide for that. It's very much a workbook. Yeah. There are exercises in here. There are ways to measure your progress and to test things. So let's talk about the core of it, the DAD framework. I'll let you just tell us what that is.
Sure. So it's an acronym for the 3 key elements for effective marketing. I've been studying the marketing in earnest for about 7 years now. I've been employing my own businesses ever since I started, but really in earnest, what works and what doesn't work. And I do want to put one disclaimer. When people hear Get Different, they think, get outrageous. And that is not what this book's about. It's not about putting on a clown costume with the big floppy shoes and the yaka yaka horn and walk around. That's not what this is about. What it's about is really amplifying your differentiators that are natural to you as an owner of a business or the marketing department, but really exemplifying the differentiation that the business already has and putting out in a marketing presence. Because the only way the customer will discover your differences in your business is only when they do business with you. Prior to that, the only experience they have is your marketing. So your marketing is a statement about you. The 3 elements of the DAD framework are this. First, you must differentiate. Differentiate means to distinguish and stand out. How the human brain functions, how the prospect brain functions, is that any stimuli that comes about is actually ignored unless it meets one of 3 elements. If it's a known threat, we go into a combative mode. So if you and I are having a meeting, I plop down a gun and say, hey, Kev, I'd like this podcast to go another hour. What do you think? I have your attention guaranteed. And the thing is, combative mode will kick in. You'll punch me in the nose. You'll bash my face in. So that's not a good rapport builder. Stage 2 is known opportunity gets through. So if I plop down like $1 million and say, hey, Kev, I'd love to go for another hour on our podcast today, I'll have your attention again. But there's also another risk. You may say, hey, thanks for the mill, but no, we're going 20 minutes. I'm out of here, bro. And I'm out money. The third way to get attention is through the unexpected, something that's different and unknown. Most things are known. Right now, if you look around your desk, I got tons of things going on. I got a big fat marker here. I haven't paid attention to it at all until now. I just picked it up. And the reason I haven't paid attention to it because it's a known quantity. My subconscious saw it, ignored it, and said it's irrelevant. And 99.99% of the stimuli around us is all irrelevant, and we ignore it. And our brain is ignoring 99.999% of marketing. But marketing as a threat, if someone mails you something and white powder comes out of the envelope, you will pay attention, but combative. If someone mails you a check, says it's a $500,000 check, it's a real check, people will pay attention to you, but they may take the money and run. But the unexpected also gets noticed because our mind says, is this an opportunity or a threat? It needs to qualify it. So when you get an unexpected piece of mail, like a box gets mailed to you and you weren't expecting a box, we get real curious because our mind is this an opportunity? Is this a gift? Or is this a threat? Someone's suing me and sending all the paperwork? I got to figure this out. So DAD stands for differentiate. In any form of marketing, do something that's unexpected and you'll be evaluated. Problem is, you win about 1/10 of a second of attention. Mm-hmm. So we need to continue on to the next step, which is attract. Whatever you're marketing, it must be attractive to the target audience, meaning it must solve a problem they have. It must invoke curiosity. It needs to entertain them. It has to have a reason to stay engaged with it. Everyone has to say, you're having problems. Here's the cure. It can simply say, just have fun with me, and here's my entertainment. If you watch Super Bowl ads, most of those are focusing on the entertainment factor. That's an attractor factor. Most of those ads miss the last element, the last D, which stands for direct. And direct is we need to give explicit direction to the prospect on what to do with this information, to take one step closer to the transaction or to make the transaction itself. Key with the direct stage is it must be safe, must be reasonable. It blows my mind. I watched the Super Bowl ad. Budweiser has a great commercial. It's fun. There's horses clapping around. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And at the end, there's no direct. It doesn't say, send us your email and we'll send you a coupon for a 6-pack or a free 6-pack. They would get hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of email addresses and my permission and yours to market to them, to us into perpetuity if they simply did that, but they don't. Us small businesses, we can't afford that mistake. Right. We have to give it direct. And it just needs to be reasonable. If I say, hey, give me, I do consultative services, give me $10,000 today as a deposit and we'll talk about it. No way. That's massive. If I said, hey, give me your email address so I can send you some details on other case studies I've done to help clients, that's reasonable. And I also now have your permission to email you going forward and get close to that transaction. The key is it's got to be safe, but also you want to move as efficiently as possible to the ultimate transaction. Don't belabor it.
Look, I get it. I know there's so many communities, I'm doing air quotes, communities for entrepreneurs out there, all filled with their own version of overnight experts chirping at you from behind the screen. You got your Facebook groups, your clubhouse rooms, just experts galore. How often do you feel like you're being pinballed around from thing to thing and picking up a little bit, a little piece there? How much of that is actually making it into your brain and your fingers and your business and affecting your money? How many of these people are actually out there in the field getting their hands dirty and testing to find out what actually works and what flops? Well, in the Copy Chief community, a real community, you get shoulder to shoulder with the most active, successful marketers working in the trenches today, all while learning from industry legends who rarely teach anywhere else, if ever. Copy Chief is an amazing community, super newbie friendly. Also, you'll find, elite level marketers and copywriters in there. They're all working to become the best at their craft, get paid top dollar for their skills, stay ahead of the competition by keeping their finger on the pulse of what's working now. That's the X factor when you're backed up by a community and you can get any question you have answered by people who actually do this stuff and can tell you from real world experience what to do for your project, for your offer, for your funnel, for your clients. Man, you're unstoppable when you've got that kind of confidence. Go check us out at copychief.com/join. If you've never been a member, you're going to see what you've been missing and you're going to say, where has this been all my life? And if you've been a member in the past, I would invite you to come and check out all the new stuff. We've completely updated all the tech. So we're on brand new platforms. Everything is slick and smooth and easy to access. And it's never been better. Copychief.com/join. I'll look for you inside. That's so good. That is really the key that a lot of people miss too, because in things like SEO, right? They're like, okay, I just got to make it to I just got to be seen and found, but they forget to do something relevant with the attention when they get it.
Totally. Even the click factor, like, you can change the metadata and stuff so that it presents a certain way. Mine, like I had, like, if someone Googles books and stuff, it was popping up the number one spot on Google. It says Mike Michalowicz. But someone looking for Profit First has no clue who this Polak is. Like, who's Michalowicz? So right. I changed it. It says author of Profit First, Mike Michalowicz. Now it's like, oh, now you see that's an attractor factor. We have to be even selective at that minute level of differentiating, but also compelling the person to take an action, which is implied in that case, which is click.
Speaking of case studies, you got some great ones in the book. I just got the book. I didn't get to finish what happened with Gabriel. What you talk about Gabriel?
Gabriel Pena. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about him and what did he do I want to help people see what this looks like when we're actually doing something different.
So Gabriel Pena is an accountant. Right there, most people are shut down saying, okay, boring. And there's a quote I have in that book also from Robert Stevens. He's the founder of Geek Squad. He shared something that really was profound to me. He said, the more boring an industry, the easier the opportunity to get noticed because the industry's boring, just get different. What they did is they put on those geek suits and sure enough, they exploded. Well, Gabriel Pena was doing the classic word of mouth, hoping some people would refer business to him. Every so often doing a trade booth with 50 other accountants there sitting there with their visors. And it wasn't working because he was doing the same as everyone else. So we got together and we said, we got to do something different. And he targets cigar shops. There's a book that he particularly likes, but also serves cigar shops. So what he started doing was mailing these books out to them. And the process of Get Different is an experiment. You're not going to necessarily hit it out of the gates the first try. So he sent books and he started getting some thank you notes. Oh, thanks for this book. Oh my gosh, this is super relevant. I look forward to reading it. And the book gets shelved and he never got business. So then he started doing a different level experiment. He sent out the same book. We started putting sticky notes in just to certain specific pages saying, fast forward to this page, read this one paragraph. This is an eye opener. The very last sticky note said, there's so much to consume here. I'll happily do a free consultation with you to walk you through this book and get you set up. Well, now he didn't just get thank yous. He started getting calls saying, hey, I looked at those notes you made. I'd love to learn a little more about this process. What will you teach me? And he started getting prospects. And the best part is he can throttle it. When he needs more lead flow, he sends out more books. When things are humming along and he's doing the work, he slows down that campaign. So it was transformative for him.
Wow, that's great. I love it. It's just, a way to show people that you're thinking of them like sincerely, genuinely.
It was genuine. Yeah, that's the thing. What Gabe did, and all of us should do, is amplify who we naturally are. Gabe is a giver. And we simply said, well, how do you give now? He's like, well, I do free consultations. I go to trade booths. I'll sit down and just talk with people. But that's what everyone else was doing. He said, I love this book and I want to start mailing it out to people because it's a great way to contribute to them. But we asked, well, who else is mailing books? No one. We asked his clients, cigar shops, how many books do you receive from people to support your business? And they're like, never. Right? When you hear back feedback like never or no one, that means it's different. So that's when we started the campaign. The other beautiful thing was it took about 10 or 15 books just to start getting traction. It was a small investment. He's buying the books in bulk. Probably can get them used, honestly. And he started getting some traction. So then he started amplifying it. The power of these experiments is often they can be very cost-effective, very small experiments to see if it's working. And when it does, you amplify it. When it doesn't, you just got to correct it and improve it.
Oh, that's brilliant. So it wasn't even a book he wrote. It was just
it wasn't even his book. Oh,
wow.
But here's the best. This is my favorite part. He autographs them, though. It's not a book he wrote. He autographs the front and says, hope you love this book. Gabe Pena. You think he's the author. It's freaking genius. So people are calling him saying, dude, I love your book. He's like, oh, it's not my book, but it's a book I believe in. Yeah. And they're like, oh, he's taken ownership of it by autographing. And he puts a cell number there too.
That's great. And the truth is, if you want to like very basic self-publish, I mean, you can put a book together, you know what I mean? And even do it with your own, because with him, I would think like if it was like the cigar shop owners
guide to profitability
or tax conundrum or something like that, where now it's like, oh, wow, this is one person in the world who actually gets how we are unique. You know, what do you think about, everybody always says, there's a thing, you're not a special snowflake. You're not, I mean, I get what they're saying, and that's true to a degree that your problems are probably kind of more common than you think.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we all have our own circumstances based on, you know, our personalities, our inhibitions, our financial circumstances, our life circumstances. And it's about finding the thing you can do with what you have now to start.
Totally. I think about the author industry. That's where I am. And what's so interesting to me is I do believe that everyone is a snowflake, is unique, yet there's a compulsion not to be unique. That's the oddity. There is a compulsion to stand out without standing out. We want to be noticed without being noticeable. That's this weird kind of bipolarism that's happening. I noticed in so many authors, It's like these generic websites, the generic presentation, generic marketing, and they all have their own message, but it's all watered down to fit in. This isn't just authors. This is in all industries. There's this compulsion to be compliant. And it's the few folks like Gabriel who stands out. Honestly, 99% of his services are the same as anyone else's. But he does know the cigar industry better than most. So that's his 1%. And he's been willing to market in a way that no one else does. And now his snowflake shines. It's probably that's a mixed metaphor. But you know what I'm saying?
It's a sunny day.
The snowflake melts.
Sun on snow is nice.
And he died. And that's the end. Yeah.
All right, Pete, great, Gabriel. Yeah, for us, it's freelancers, and we talk about specializing and what to do with that. And it's always interesting to me how they get it because they're in marketing. So, a lot of people have the common problem of, I want to be for everybody because then I'll have all the business in the world, right? That's kind of like one-on-one. Figure out that the more you specialize, the better. For freelancers, I think they get hung up on this idea that, oh no, but when I specialize, I'm announcing this to the world and I'm stuck with it. And what if I figure out in 3 months, I don't love it as much, or it's not, it's like, I said, man, we call them bat signals. I call them bat signal because it's the thing that other people will recommend you for. It's like,
totally.
They'll shine your bat signal and you're the only one who can answer the call. And you can change those. They're flexible. They're
totally
fluid,
I think people confuse niche specialization with niche exclusivity. Niche specialization means that you concentrate on a community, you market to that community, you build exceptional services for that community. But other opportunities, if they present themselves, we're not excluding them. So I've told people, you got to go for a niche. And like, I can't fire all my clients. I'm like, no. I'm not saying fire anyone. I'm saying start marketing thematically to one community, see how engaged they are, see the traction you get. And over time, maybe they will crowd out your other stuff. And I think that becomes a little more palatable. This isn't a switch here and it's not working and then, I got to switch there alone. It's much more fluid. But there's no question when you start specializing in a community, you start speaking their language, your marketing becomes more effective. It is a bat signal. People are drawn to it.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Mike, I want to respect your time and get the word out about this book. What people need to do is just go get it. It's Get Different. Mike Michalowicz, easily found wherever you enjoy purchasing books. September 21st is the big release date.
This year, 21. Yep.
Well, congratulations on another great book, Mike. You just keep knocking them out. I've had the privilege of coming to your town and meeting your team. Yeah. You surround yourself with amazing people who are all very, very bought into your mission. So I know it's only more great things to come.
Kevin, it's just great seeing you again. And thanks for all of this. I appreciate you.
Yeah, my pleasure. We'll talk soon. Hey, don't forget your goodies. Head over to copychief.com/copychiefradio to get some great free stuff to help you put the things you hear on the show into action for your business. Copychief.com/CCR.